Hello! So, I am making just some biscuits. I'm making gluten-free biscuits because I have a gluten intolerance. I also have a intolerance for squeaky toys. I have a dog who loves squeaky toys, and right now it's his playtime. So, we will deal with the squeaky toy noise and make biscuits. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is make some milk because normally I have some like rice milk or some other milk because I also have a dairy intolerance. Thanks for that. So right now I am going to make some milk with some instant milk. And for 1 cup of milk, you need 1/3 cup powdered milk. And then I'll put that in there for the moment because I might need that. I'm gonna need that for something else too. Because my kids are going to eat a packaged biscuits. I am going to be eating biscuits I make from scratch. So I'm gonna stir this and I'll have to add some more water to it. And the water is cold. All my water comes through a special filter. Because actually for this recipe, I only need 3/4 cup milk. Yeah, only 3/4 cup milk. Squeaky, squeaky. They're getting their exercise. Miss Melody and I have a challenge this month to go and do a 40-mile walk for the Children's Cancer Research Center. So far we've only gotten 4 miles in because this march has been too cold for either of us to walk and too snowy. But we can pack on a lot of miles in a short amount of time. And we've only got to do 40 miles. So, not a big deal. We will have it done in no time. All right, so I have to be careful when stirring because it gets all frothy on me. You can't stir it fast. Ted in the other room. She's actually playing with a turkey that's got his squeaker in it. So, and this is, we pre-stir this. So there's our milk. Now, the dry ingredients get put in here first. I pre-sifted all of my flour for, it's pre-sifted. I pre-sift. Don't necessarily have to do that, but I do it because then it works better. So. And I need a total of 2 cups. Don't ever, ever, ever eat raw gluten-free flour. Don't ever do it. Why? Because if you want strong intestinal pains, this'll do it. This is designed to be cooked. You can't just eat it raw. It will make you sick. So now I need, set that up here. I now need 1 tablespoon of sugar. I don't have white sugar. I have brown sugar. And it works just as well. So I pack it in my little thing. Like so. Ta-da. And then we put it in there. So 1 tablespoon of that. And then 3 teaspoons baking powder. But anybody who knows their math knows that 3 teaspoons, here I'll show you because I've even got my little chart on the wall here. 3 teaspoons is equivalent to 1 tablespoon. Most containers do not have a thing on there that is big enough to fit a 1 tablespoon measure. I do not want stickies in my stuff. So, and then, so 1 tablespoon baking powder. But actually, being gluten-free, we put 2 in. Because it does not rise or form the same way. So this helps it to rise. Repeat it back in there. Don't be doing that, kiddo. 1 teaspoon salt. I love this. I use sea salt. And I will use a little ½ teaspoon. Because I most likely to spill any. I cannot use iodized salt. Another one of my sensitivities. If I use iodized salt, I will have blisters in my mouth. It's very bad. All right, now this I'm going to mix together. Convenient. Oh, look at there. I got stuff right here. I am going to mix this up with a fork. Take your turkey to the other room, Melody. Get your turkey out of here. Go on, take your turkey. What? Oh, they're all looking at me, just wagging their tails. I think this is funny. Hell, I think it's funny. All right, so we get this mixed up. All right, that's mixed. Now I will add my shortening, which this is another reason for a fork. And for shortening, I need ½ cup of shortening. So I just use this for my flour. Yes, I can use this for my shortening. Need one thing though. Ta-da! You need one of these. I normally have a smaller one. When you are doing shortening, put it along the sides and then press out the air. And then when you put it out, it won't have any air in it. Airtime is not a good thing for shortening. All right, so shove it into about the little dish. Yum, 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 yum. Like a sauce. Yeah, easy. Beautiful. They made it beautiful. See? It's full in there. Okay. And now we scoops it out like a saw. Like that. Ta-da! Now we will use the spatula a little bit later to help with getting stuff out. I'm going to go like this and get the rest of it out. Because I don't like a mess. And I will set that in it and off to the side. So that way it does not make a mess. Now we will use the fork and we will cut. Now you can use 2 knives, you can use a pastry cutter. I just tend to use a fork to just kind of mash it about and break it up until it's crumbly. I do the same thing with pie crusts. I have the most wonderful flaky pie crusts. The less handling you do of pie crust, the better. And the flakier they are. I do not make gluten-free pie crust though. Unless it's a pressed crust. Because of the fact that gluten-free pie crusts, unless you add other binders to them, do not hold together to be rolled out. I have on occasion been able to do it with adding a little bit of egg. But then when I roll it out between 2 pieces of parchment paper. And it works pretty good that way. Don't mind me. I haven't talked much all day. And all weekend I was talking because I was narrating books and producing books. And anybody who's done any of that type of thing knows that, especially if you do not have enough water, you can sound a little groggy the next day. So yeah, it's getting crumbly. Let's see how it's getting crumbly. Crumble, crumble, crumble. I want to make sure it's thoroughly done before I add my milk. So we're going to keep crumbling it a bit more before we add our milk. So, and then I'll show you how we roll this out. I still have enough flour in there to roll out, so we're good. Yes, I have my nice red bowl. I'll put my stuff in there. I just like to be able to mix it though in this container so it's easier to see. All right, so I want to make sure it's thoroughly incorporated into this stuff. This works nice. Delicious. Hopefully that's not too loud for you. The only microphone I'm using is the one attached to my phone. Normally with recording, I use my other phone. This is if I need it. This is probably more than likely going to just be used for the kids' stuff. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my milk and just until this is sticky. And then I'm going to put it on the counter, which I have nice and clean. Very important to have clean counters, especially with animals. Because animals can be very messy. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit at a time. About half of what I need to begin with. I'm still going to use my fork to mix it. Now, with the drop biscuit, and these aren't necessarily a drop biscuit, but you can do them as a drop biscuit, where you form them or semi-form them and then put them on the cookie sheet. What was I in the middle of saying? Anyway, this one you can form or semi-form and create like a drop biscuit instead of a formed biscuit. Depends on if you want more of a flaky one or not flaky. I tend to use more water or liquids when doing gluten-free items. Stir this now. Because they soak up more. And this is just a regular all-purpose Betty Crocker flour. My husband is rather lovely about getting me plenty of gluten-free flours. One of the ones, my favorite things to use is a coconut flour. I don't do a lot of baking for myself at all. I tend to avoid pastries. I tend to avoid breads altogether, because even the gluten-free ones can sometimes can give me problems. So I do not eat a lot of grains, but I do still get a lot of fiber with my diet from my vegetables. This is almost ready. It's almost clinging together. If I have to, I can always add a little bit of just regular water. Doesn't have to be milk. The milk is kind of nice though. And that little bit of sugar is nice because it offsets it a little bit. You can choose to omit sugar. You don't have to put it in there. There. You see that it's chunky. He's chunky. Okay. Anyway, let's see how we'll do this. Yum. All right. Hello, Henry.
Oh, some finance?
No. Not dang it. Wow, really? Okay. Yep. There's my elbow. Alright. Add a little bit of this to my countertop. And this should release very easily from the sides of the container.
May I turn to happening?
I'm videotaping. No, and you will not use my container for such. Those are my containers for putting my lunch and stuff in. You're not using them for growing things, such as the wife of the mother.
Don't you mean such as mold? You don't want mold growing in there at all.
No, I don't. All right. Sorry, you can't really see a whole lot of what I'm doing. Next time I'll use my little tripod and we'll videotape with a tripod. But, as you can see, by adding the extra milk and stuff, it does hold together pretty well, even though it's gluten-free. Now the cooking process. And it doesn't help for me to do a lot of kneading with it because it's not going to form the gluten bonds that regular bread does. But I want to press it with my hands. You can roll it, but I want it to be about 3/4 of an inch to an inch thick. Hi-yo! I'm going to make some biscuits for you too. I'm doing flowers. It's spring, so we're going to do flowers.
May I cut it out?
You want to press it?
Yes.
Okay. Watch the camera. You need to be able to see. Make sure you're right up against that edge. Ta-da. Pull it up. Show the camera. Ta-da! All right, very good. Thank you. All right, go on. Set the oven, the top oven, Henry,
Okay, what do you want me to set it to?
450. Now, these biscuits will not brown the same way as other biscuits because of the lack of the gluten in there and whatnot. They just don't brown.
May I plant catnip?
What do you intend to plant it in?
IDK.
You don't know? Better figure out where you're going to plant it before you go planting it. Because you're going to want to start it inside here. You may be able to just keep it growing in here, actually, if you plant it in the right thing. I do have potting soil, too. Try to get as many of it out of it as I can. So cool. Just make nice biscuits. Nummy. A biscuit. Alright. I'm a little busy.
Where's that red plant pot?
What?
The red plant pot.
I-
You had been growing your catnip in before.
It might be in the garage. I would look out there first. Okay.
It's not out there. We're going to search next.
No. 3/4 of an inch to an inch thick. You could do 1/2 inch thick for regular ones. Try to be careful how you shake it out. All right, I've got enough to do. Like, I'm gonna go like this and create a stuffed one. Can't do that. It's cool. Just gonna go shake, shake, shake. Whoop. Yeah. Got enough to do partial one. It's about the size of one of the smaller ones like that. It's a little bit thicker. or thinner. The thinner ones you want to put towards the middle of the pan. Thicker ones stay outside. If they're inconsistent. I could do consistent ones if I wanted. I could do a spacer. You know, I want that, and I'm just not doing it. I used to do that when I was doing cakes and things. You could just make a spacer and run it along and cut everything perfectly even. You want to do that when you're doing wedding cakes. Nah, not too worried about it. All right, so I've got a pan, and I'm going to put this. This is going in the sink. And I will wash that in a moment. Now for this, set these up here because I'm gonna need those. I'm gonna double check, make sure there's nothing weird on it, because I just pulled it from the cupboard. We're good. So I'm gonna coat the bottom as the pan because I am currently out of parchment paper. I cook pretty much everything on parchment paper, even stuff on the grill. When you cook things on the grill, don't ever use foil. Why? Do you know one of the #1 leading causes of cancer isn't what you'd think? And it's not foil, but it can make you very, very sick. And yes, it does increase your chances of cancer because your body is not designed to absorb aluminum. It makes it toxic. When you use aluminum foil, tin foil on the grill, it becomes toxic because the grill gets too hot. Don't believe me? Look it up. So I've argued with many, many people on this because they're like, you gotta wrap it in foil. And I tell them, absolutely not. I have a number of other items I can wrap my food in to put it on the grill. One of them is parchment paper. Parchment paper actually holds up pretty well in the grill, as long as it's not directly on the coals. Ta-da. Have to do that. And now we will put these guys. They do not rise like other biscuits, so I can put them closer together. I can put them on there with like a ½ inch space between them, and they will cook just fine. Now, if I had to do that with kids' biscuits, that won't work. They will all stick together and become one massive biscuit. So anyway, now these ones are ready to go in. And I'll be back.